Millions of us struggle to lose weight, but maybe we're going about it all wrong.
What if we told you you could drop pounds without going on a diet? Most of us think we have free will when it comes to choosing how much and what we eat.
Well, David Hydefield went to a lab in upstate New York where what scientists have discovered could change the whole weight loss equation. He's here now to let us in on what he's learned. This sounds fascinating.
It really is fascinating. I learned bunches, and it really is stuff that you never really think about until you hear it. This is all about influences in our environment that we're not even aware of. But once you know what they are, you can control them, and it could have a very real effect on your waistline. Here at prestigious Cornell University, Professor Brian Wansink has students eating, well, dog food.
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
It wasn't very good.
It's one of a variety of experiments, the rest dealing with people food, on what influences our eating without us even realizing.
We think we're master and commander of all of our food decisions, but we're not.
So what can get people to try dog food? Apparently, the word organic.
If people believe it's organic, they were much more likely to try it and taste it.
When it comes to regular food, on this day, they're looking at whether seeing yourself in a mirror that makes you appear thinner will result in you eating more. Also, whether a tray that's secretly weighted down will make you put less food on that tray. Wansink runs the school's food and brand lab. Let me show you the setup they have here. This room looks like a kitchen, but it's set up for experiments. In fact, they have cameras all the way around the top, and they have one-way mirrors, so they can see what people are doing in here. Based on what he's learned, he's written a book, Mindless Eating.
One of the things we found here in my lab is that of all the people who cycle through here, most people on average within a year end up losing 15 to 20 pounds.
So what do they know that you don't that could help you lose weight? The first tip, don't put food in serving bowls on the table. Instead, make up plates in the kitchen.
This really works for guys.
He says that's because guys generally eat fast.
The rest of the family eats in slow motion compared to us. So what do? Well, we get seconds, then we'll get thirds, and we'll get fourths, just so that we have something to do.
He says men eat 29% less if bowls are left on the kitchen counter. Next, serve salad or veggies first. That's because he says we tend to eat more of whatever we start with.
This works tremendous for kids.
But if given a choice, with everything out on the table, most people go for meat or potatoes first. Dim the lights. Maybe even try candlelight. You might not realize it, but he says
it slows you down and it allows your appetite to catch up with your brain.
Avoid loud pop or rock music while you're eating.
It's distracting, and what we find is people tend to eat to the beat.
He says you'll inadvertently eat more, but with softer, soothing music, you'll actually eat less. Use smaller plates.
People serve about 22% less on this than they do your typical 12-inch plate.
He says you'll still feel satisfied because visually the plate looks full.
So if you want to be skinny glasses.
These two glasses hold the same amount, but people will stop pouring sooner with the taller, skinnier glass because it looks like there's more. Put the most healthful foods right at eye level in the fridge because
you're 3 times as likely to take the first thing you see.
When it comes to snacking, build in a pause point. For example, if you go to a warehouse club and get a huge bag, divide up portions into smaller baggies, so you'll stop when the baggie is empty. In one study, found simply dyeing every 7th potato chip gave people a visual cue that made them stop eating sooner. He says it's a bad idea to eat in front of the TV or in a car, because you'll end up eating more. Simply moving a candy bowl at least 6 feet away from you can make a big difference in how much you eat. Instead, put a fruit bowl front and center. Finally, if you're at a buffet, only put 2 things on your plate at a time.
I can only have 2 things on my plate. I'm going to take the 2 things I like the most.
When you go back,
you're a little less excited, so you maybe put a little bit less on your plate.
He says in the end, you'll eat nearly 30% less than you would otherwise. Well, it all makes sense. And listen to how Europeans and Americans view things differently. He asked people in Paris, how do you know when you're done with a meal? They said when they were no longer hungry or when the food no longer tasted good. But then he asked the same question to people in Chicago, Ken and Christine. How do you think they answered?
Oh, I think I know.
Yeah?
What?
Think you know? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm always telling my kids to clean your plate, so I'm thinking when the plate's empty.
When the they answered when the plate is empty, or
Hello, right.
when the TV show I'm watching is over.
Oh, man. That tells you a lot about our culture,
TV
doesn't it?
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we just sort of need to rethink some of these things that influence us.
Absolutely. I learned
Very
everything I do
interesting.
is wrong. So thank you. It's very good to know.
That's what I'm here for, Ken.
Thank you, David.